NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Today from the Kingdome, it's the Denver Broncos versus the Seattle Seahawks. Today's game is brought to you by the totally new 1982 Continental with a new contemporary size and that traditional Continental ride. By Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Brewers of Michelob. Put a little weekend in your week. By RCA Video Disc. Bring the magic home on RCA. And by new gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile. Ask for it. The Kingdome in Seattle. Bob Costas along with Jim Turner. There you see referee Fred Silva indicating that the Broncos have won the toss and they will be receiving. A week ago, a 9-7 victory over Oakland. And while 9 points might not seem like much, Jim, Craig Morton moved that offense. Fred Steinfurt had a bad kicking day, missed 5 field goals. They could have won the game by much more.
Bob, he controlled the clock 35 minutes and 40 seconds. They ran up 358 yards of total offense. They had 6 field goals attempt, so the offense did move the ball. They didn't put any points on the board, but they did a very good job.
Interesting stat, time of possession, as Jim Turner pointed out, for Denver 36 against 24 minutes for Oakland a week ago. It was the reverse for Seattle. Cincinnati had the ball 41 minutes to the Seahawks 19 after the Seahawks jumped to the early 21-0 lead, all 21 points in the first quarter. And then with the youngster Turk Schonert at quarterback, Cincinnati rallied at home and pulled it out 27-21. There you see Efren Herrera, one of the best and undoubtedly the most exciting place kicker in the NFL. He will do just about anything. Adept at the onside kick. Sometimes
look at him, Bob, he's
he'll
the ball
punt. Just getting it, in the groove, just getting ready. He'll punt. He'll go out as a receiver. He'll throw a pass. You can watch for just about anything from Efren today.
Bob, in my opinion, he's one of the finest kickers in the NFL today.
With Rick Upchurch out for a couple of weeks at least with a sprained knee, Wade Manning is the deep man. Manning wearing number 83. The Broncos 1-0 under new coach Dan Reeves. Jack Patera with a brand new 5-year contract to remain at the helm of the Seattle Seahawks. His club 0-1 and without a win since December of '79 on their home turf. Manning fields it inside the 5. Wade Manning will not get to the 20-yard line. Good coverage by the Seahawks special team. There you see the backfield. Dave Preston had 87 yards to lead them in their ground game last week against Oakland, and 38-year-old Craig Morton will be at quarterback with Rick Parros at the other running back spot. Steve Watson in place of the injured Upchurch. 2 great veterans, Moses and Odoms, the rest of the receiving corps. And we'll take a look at their offensive line shortly. This is a first down play from the 19-yard line, and the handoff is to Rick Parros. And Parros with a good gain out across the 30 for a Denver first down. Kenny Easley, the left safety. They play left and right safety as opposed to free and strong with the Seahawks. Easley, the rookie out of UCLA, the number 1 pick, made the tackle. There is the veteran offensive line. Claude Minor, the highest paid offensive lineman in the entire NFL. Denver got 12 on that last play, by the way. Preston goes out, and Tony Reed, the former Kansas City Chief, 5-year man out of Colorado, comes in. He wears number 32, and there he is shifting into the eye. In motion is Riley Odoms. They pitch it back to Reed. Watch for the option. Reed is looking, dodging a tackler, tucks it in and runs with it, and breaks it. Out to the 39-yard line, so it could have been a loss. He turned it into a good play. There is a penalty marker down, however.
I think what we saw in that second play, Bob, is that Dan Reeves is going to put everything in the book. He wants to get on the scoreboard early. We saw a lot of shifting. We saw the tight end move over to the right side. They're going to put the halfback pass in. They haven't shown it.
Defense, number 55, personal foul, spearing, first down.
Michael Jackson is guilty of spearing left side linebacker. There's Fred Silva, the referee, and the rest of his crew who'll be working this game. So Denver picks up a first down at the 46-yard line of the Seahawks. Dan Reeves, of course, longtime assistant to Tom Landry at Dallas. And the Cowboy multiple offense is being installed here in Denver. It's not running with perfect precision yet, but that's what they're looking for. Dave Preston, a couple of yards at most, a grudging couple. Jacob Green, #1 draft choice a year ago, the left end, made the stop. There's their front four. Manu Tuiasosopo, #1 pick in '79. Green, the #1 choice a year ago. The linebackers, Michael Jackson, Terry Beeson, and Keith Butler. Keith Simpson will be at the left corner. At the right side, Kerry Justin in place of the injured Dave Brown. And Easley and Harris are the safeties. Harris had an interception return for a touchdown a week ago against Cincinnati. With Justin in and Brown out, it marks the first Seahawk game ever that Brown has not participated in. Tony Reed can't catch the swing pass from Craig Morton. And it will be 3rd down and 8 coming up.
That's one of the reasons they traded for Tony Reed. He had the best hands in the AFC last year. I'm surprised he dropped the ball. I think what we're going to see the first couple of series, Bobby, is the fact that Morton is just going to test everything. They want to see what Seattle's defense is going to give them early in the game.
Mentioned Dave Brown out at the right corner. He had started every Seahawk game in their history until he broke a leg a week ago against the Bengals. He is one of 3 Seahawks remaining from their first veteran allocation draft. Sam McCullum, the wide receiver, and Art Kuhn, the veteran center, are the others. And now they go into the shotgun. They need 8 yards. Morton firing over the middle. Almost intercepted by Kenny Easley, the rookie. It'll be 4th down, and they'll have to punt. Terry Donahue, Jim, called this kid Easley perhaps the greatest athlete ever to play at UCLA. That's saying a lot.
That's saying an awful lot. I think what we see right now is what we really saw in the Oakland game last week. Craig was very lucky last week. He threw 4 passes that should have been intercepted by Oakland. 2 could have been walked in by touchdowns.
Will Lewis is the deep man. Luke Prestige to punt. Averaged 35.3 on 4 punts a week ago against Oakland. Last year, the AFC leader at 43.9. Trying to put it out close to the goal line. It takes a Denver bounce. They will down it inside the 5.
They work on this every day, Bob. Luke is one of the better ones in the league to do this. He's an extremely huge man for a punter, but he takes great pride in helping the defense. I view the punt as the first defensive play of the series.
He is a big guy, 6'4", 235, a 40-yard punt. There is Zorn with Smith and Jodat his backs. No running game at all last week against Cincinnati. Smith had 9 yards on 8 carries. Jodat had 23 yards on 8 carries. 2 of the better wide receivers in the game, McCullum and Largent. John Sawyer had his best year statistically last season, caught 36. He's their tight end. The ball is at the 4 with 12:54 to play in the first quarter. In motion is Largent. The give is to Jodat, the former Ram, right into a stone wall, gets maybe a couple of yards to the 6-yard line. Linebackers Tom Jackson and Larry Evans are in on the stop.
If you're going to run against the 3-4 defense that Denver runs all the time, you have to go straight at him. You can't go outside.
Seahawk offensive line yielded 51 sacks a year ago. They are without Tom Lynch, the standout guard who is still a holdout, and they may not have him for the rest of the season. 2nd and 8 from the 6. Zorn to the sideline, almost intercepted. It was deflected. Bob Swenson, I believe, deflected it, and then Louis Wright, the left cornerback, almost had an opportunity to pick it off and take it home. They played the 3-4, and as Jim Turner mentioned, the pressure applied by Rulon Jones has been a big, big factor for them early in the season. 5 sacks of Jim Plunkett a week ago, and they made him hurry his pass on 12 other occasions. There's the veteran linebacking crew. Randy Gradishar, one of the very best in the game. Bob Swenson, injury problems the past couple of years, back now. And you saw the secondary. White, Kyle, Foley, and Thompson. All right, it's 3rd and 8 from the 6-yard line. Seahawks need a first down. They go with the draw. Jodat won't get it. They're going to have to punt from their own end zone.
That call surprised me a little bit, Bobby. I thought they'd be going for a first down. I thought he'd throw it up. Maybe they're a little bit pensive here in the first series of downs.
Well, again, Denver's kicking game and defense proves to be their best offense. They have assured Craig Morton of excellent field position.
Absolutely. This has been the story for the past 3 years, actually.
Here is Jeff West to punt. Out of football in 1980. His last club was the Chargers in '79. He beat out Herman Weaver in training camp. Wade Manning takes it, and a rude how do you do for him as Don Dupek, one of the very best special teams players, number 25 for the Seahawks, got down there and hit him immediately. Manning should have called catch.
Yes,
the result is the same, but there's a big risk of a fumble in a situation like this.
Dufek, it's just a great tackle. I'm not too sure. Manning took a real chance there. I think he should have put his hand up, call a fair catch. Right there's when you drop the ball and give the opponents just an easy 6 points.
West didn't get as much distance as he wanted, 36 yards, no return. Herman Weaver had his best statistical season as a member of the Seahawks in 1980. But West came in and beat him in training camp. Weaver out of a job. Haven Moses, the veteran, is in motion on first down. Morton with the play fake and looking and throwing. It's deflected and nearly intercepted again. A diving attempt for the interception by Kerry Justin. Moses was the target, 2nd and 10.
Haven told me before the game they are going to try the little circle routes on the linebackers, the in patterns to Haven and Steve Watson. A terrific attempt there by the Seattle Seahawks defense. I think Craig Morton has just got to settle himself down right now.
How long will it be, really, before that Dallas offense, that multiple offense, arrives in Denver?
2 years. 2 years. They need a change of some talent on the field.
Morton on 2nd down. Out of that pocket. The line affording him time. He drills the pass in there, and Steve Watson, the third-year man from Temple, makes the catch. Kenny easily brings him down immediately, but it's a first down after a gain of 18.
This is the positive factor that Steve Watson gives Craig Morton over, let's say, a Rick Upchurch, who does have the blazing speed. Steve runs the precise patterns. He's got great hands.
What do you think of this left safety, right safety, as opposed to free and strong alignment for Seattle?
It's something that hasn't been done in the NFL or the AFL for years. I think the jury's still out on it.
Clock running with 10:50 to play in the first quarter. From the 29 of the Seahawks, Denver mounts the game's first serious threat. They pitch it to Dave Preston, trying to turn the corner, and he won't be able to do it. Gain of a yard, perhaps.
That's good pursuit by the Seattle defense. Dave Preston, probably the most versatile of all the Broncos. He plays all the special teams. He's almost on the field the entire game.
Seahawks like that young defense. They have 4 number 1 choices, 2 number 2s, and a number 3 starting on defense.
Defense.
We'd like to welcome those viewers who've just joined us from the Houston-Cleveland game, which I understand Houston won by a score of 9-3. Tough AFC Central battle. This is Bob Costas along with Jim Turner. We are early in the first quarter at the Kingdome in Seattle. Denver with the ball, 1st and 5 from the 24 after a Seahawk penalty. Look at this wall of blockers in front of Tony Reed. He breaks the tackle on his own, and he's down near the 10-yard line. You can't ask for the screen to work much better than that, Jim.
Bob, the screen has not worked for the Broncos in the past 3 years. As we see it again, one of the reasons they traded for Tony Reed at Kansas City was his ability to scramble, to hustle behind the blockers. He's got great hands. Look at this. I can tell you right now, one of the very few plays the Broncos have never been able to run properly is the screen. And look at Tony.
So they get a first down at the 11. Coming up to 10 minutes to play in quarter number 1. Morton with the handoff to Arrows, who is grabbed behind the line of scrimmage for the loss. Busting in there was Jacob Green along with Michael Jackson, the left side linebacker.
Jacob Green's last year's number 1 draft choice. They like him. He's extremely fast. He shut Rick Peros off. One of the deficiencies that Rick Peros may have out of Utah State is his size on the goal line area.
Loss of 2 back to the 13, 2nd and 12. We got that Houston-Cleveland score. The Browns in a very tough division, off to an 0-2 start. Houston 2-0.
Kenny Stabler's back.
And here we see Reed shifting into the slot. The Denver attack much more diversified under Dan Reeves. Arrows cannot turn the corner. Again, they are all over him. They're going to force Morton to throw on 3rd down. Keith Simpson from the left corner. Jacob Green, the left end, make the tackle.
Great pursuit by Jacob Green. Once again, they're trying the defensive left side, offensive right side. Maybe they feel they have a key there. Jacob Green is not going to allow it right now.
Now, this is a tough spot to throw from. You don't have as much field to work with. What do you think Morton is likely to call, or actually Dan Reeves likely to call and send in to Craig Morton?
I believe it'll be a pass over the middle. Crossing patterns, flood the zones. Look at, they already have problems with the man lining up in the right spot.
Manning in the slot right, 3 wide receivers. Watson wide to the left, Moses wide to the right, tight end Odoms on the left side. Out of the shotgun, Morton looks, guns it for the end zone, off the fingertips of Riley Odoms, the veteran tight end.
Bob, that's what they put down in the book as a DB, drop ball. That ball should have been caught. Riley has done that 100 times in his career. He's a great tight end. He shouldn't have dropped the ball. We'll see a field goal now with Fred Steinfurt. This is very important for Fred. He had a tough game last week, and he needs one like this. The ball's going to be placed on the 22. It'll be about a 27, 28-yard field goal. If Freddie chips it through, I think he'll come off of last week's bad game.
Last week he was 1 for 6. 2 of his misses beyond 50 yards, but 3 of them inside 30. Last year, a kicker's dream. Hit 26 of 34, including 5 of better than 50 yards. Out of the hold of Luke Preston.
Right through the pipe.
Officially, it's a 30-yard field goal for Fred Steinfurt, so he's got to feel a whole lot better.
Yes, I don't think there's any question about it. He's feeling real good.
Clock stops. 8:34 to play. Quarter number 1. It's 3-zip Broncos.
This is Brian Dublin, New York. In Cleveland, the Browns have gone down to their second defeat of the year. Brian Sipes' fourth down effort goes awry, and the 2-0 Oilers turn them back by a final score of 9-3. Let's go back to the Kingdome. Bob Costas, Jim Turner.
All right, thanks very much, Brian. Steinfurt kicks off, and the Seahawks from out of their own end zone trying to set something up across the 20-yard line, and no more than that.
25-yard kickoff return for Gregory Johnson.
Gregory Johnson was the return man, tackled on the play by Jim Ryan, number 50. Jim, we were talking during the commercial about how big a kick that is for Fred Steinfurt.
But it's an emotional kick for Freddie. He had a terrible game last week. He needed to get a short, nice chip shot, as they say, in to make him feel a little bit better about himself.
Jack Patera.
There's Big Jack.
New 5-year contract. That alone will not assuage his feelings. His club has lost 10 consecutive regular season games. 9-7 in 78 and 79. They look like they'd really turned the corner. Off to a 4-3 start a year ago, then dropped their last 9 in a row. This telecast, presented by authority of the NFL, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Seattle Seahawks and the NFL is prohibited. Sherman Smith got 4 on first down out across the 25. We'll call it 2nd down and 6. Exactly 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Broncos in front 3-0. They send McCullum wide to the left, and Largent is wide to the right. Zorn dropping back, his line giving him time. His toss over the middle finds Steve Largent, and Largent has first down yardage at about the 37-yard line of Seattle. Steve Largent, who has caught 66 passes in each of the last 2 seasons and caught 71 in 1978, one of the most reliable route runners in the game.
I think as we look at it, again, any time that Largent's going to be lined up today on Louis Wright, Jim Zorn is going to go at him. Louis Wright is considered one of the great cornerbacks, but he has a field day with Largent and Louis Wright. Largent, by the way, in my opinion, over the years, and it's a shame there's so many great receivers around, is one of the better ones.
He's a lot like Pat Tilley of the Cardinals, wouldn't you say?
Yes, he is.
Zorn will go to the air on first down. His mobility will help him here. He throws on the run. He's got Smith out of the backfield. Smith is into Bronco territory at the 48 before Louis Wright brings him down.
This is the type of play that bothers the Broncos, a scrambling quarterback. I think we'll see he's flushed out of the pocket by the pass rush. Jimmy Zorn, one of the great athletes in the NFL. See, Randy Gradishar almost caught him on a blitz. His ability to flush out and catches the receiver there. This has always bothered the Denver Bronco defense.
So from the 48 of Denver, the Seahawks break the huddle. Clock moving, 6:25 to play in the first quarter. In motion is Mike Tice, the rookie tight end out of Maryland, number 86. He sets up on the right side. He was the Terrapins starting quarterback a year ago, becomes a tight end in the NFL. On the delayed handoff, Smith gets 3 yards, maybe, before Reuben Carter, the nose tackle, stops him.
It's good to see Sherman attack the line like that. A lot of people think he's a little worried about his injury from last year. It's good to see a man go into the line like that after he came back from missing 13 games last year.
A week ago against the Bengals.
Let's take a look at Bobby
9 yards.
Swenson. Look at it, he missed the entire year last year with the broken left arm. You can see the pad. He takes on Jim Jodat, the blocker. I think Jodat's holding him a little bit. And the ref missed one there.
2nd and 7 from the 45. McCullum left, Largent right. Zorn with time. Out of the backfield to the rookie from Boise State, David Hughes. Hughes, number 40, is brought down. At the 40, rather, is brought down by Bob Swenson.
They isolated the running back on the linebacker. David Hughes considered the best blocker at Boise State. Now he's going to come out of the backfield, catch a lot of passes. It's the coach's dream to isolate a running back on a linebacker.
They spot the ball at the 39, which leaves them less than a yard short of the first down. The scoreboard says 3rd and 1, but it's actually less than that.
This will be an interesting call, Bob.
Sam McCullum goes out. 2 tight ends, Sawyer and Tice are in. Largent in motion. They give to Sherman Smith. He's got the first down as he slips outside, breaks some tackles, and Perry Smith will ride him out of bounds. They just needed about a foot. They got a big gain instead.
He showed his athletic ability. He just kept bouncing to the outside, finding the hole. As we see it again, everything stacked up by the Bronco defense. They knew they were going to come inside. He bounced it out, took it out, made a great gain.
17 on the play for Sherman Smith. His running mate, Jim Jodat, was the Seahawks' top ground gainer a year ago with 632 yards and 5 touchdowns. Zorn has always been a threat. Establishing a consistent ground game is something that Jack Patera is really concerned about. Largent slot left, McCullum wide left. Zorn will throw on first down. The peg for McCullum, who makes the catch, and then is shoved out of bounds at the 11 or 12-yard line. Sam McCullum, who caught 62 passes, 6 of them for touchdowns a year ago, and was voted by his teammates as the 1980 Seahawk MVP.
A simple, basic out pattern. What changes it up is the fact that Zorn really put the zap on the ball against Perry Smith. Both feet inbounds, a good catch, good play.
Perry Smith, who shoved him out of bounds, alternates at that corner spot with Aaron Kyle. They'll play every other series.
That's what Richie McCabe, the defensive coach, told me yesterday.
Spot the ball at the 11 where it's 1st and 10 with 4.5 minutes to play. Zorn throwing as he drops back to Sherman Smith, and Smith gets a very rude how do you do from Perry Smith and Steve Foley.
The Seahawks tried to cross up the Bronco linebackers by sending motion one way and throwing a quick pop pass back the other way. That's a good call by the Seahawks. It didn't work, but that's a good call.
A yard on the play, 2nd and 9 at the 10. Denver leads it on a 30-yard Fred Steinfurt field goal, 3-0. This drive started back on the 22 of Seattle. We're inside 4 minutes to play in the first. Zorn off a long count. Stepping up and throwing. Got his man. The tight end Sawyer came back to make the catch, and he's down at the 3-yard line.
Sawyer had his best year last year. He caught 36 passes. It's a nice pattern. This drive is going to do a lot. If they take this ball in and score, it's going to do a lot for that offensive line.
Well, they still need 2 yards for the first or 3 for the touch. It is 3rd and 2 at the 3.
One never knows what comes out of Jimmy Zorn's bag of tricks.
And with an offensive line that, quite frankly, doesn't rank among the NFL's greatest, his mobility is absolutely invaluable.
It's imperative. If not, they don't lose any games. Or they don't win any games.
3rd down, 2. From the tight formation. Play fake and looking to the end zone. Got it. Touchdown. A tackle eligible.
Yes, sir.
A tackle eligible. Dennis Boyd made the grab, number 68.
A marvelous call by Jimmy Zorn. He had to, Boyd had to check in with the officials. I'm surprised that the Denver Broncos didn't see it. He's out of position. He's got to check in. He has a non-receiving number 68. A simple play, a dive fake. Look at this, a crossing pattern. Touchdown from the word go. Outstanding call by the Seahawks. My congratulations to that Seahawk line. Nice drive.
And a very happy Dennis Boyd, the 4th-year man out of Oregon State. It'll probably be a while before he scores again.
Yes, a long while.
Efren Herrera from Guadalajara, Mexico. Drills it through. And the Seahawks have bounced back to take a 7-3 lead. We've got 2 minutes and 48 seconds to play in quarter number 1 at the Kingdome. The Seahawks, after a 78-yard drive, have grabbed the lead.
There's a good picture, Rick, yelling, waving at everybody back in Denver in the Rocky Mountains. Rick is the #1 punt returner in the history of football. And by the way, he passed Jack Christensen, one of the coaches here in Seattle, in doing so.
Efren Herrera now to kick off. In Upchurch's absence, Wade Manning is the deep man. Herrera sends Manning back only to about the 6-yard line. Across the 20, and not much more than that. The Seahawks special teams have done an excellent job on both kick and punt coverage so far. There's a flag down, however, on the play.
Bob, we were told that there's a new aggressiveness in Seattle, maybe due to the fact of the new defensive coordinator, and I think we've seen it already. They're not going to take the blows anymore. They're going to give them.
Fred Silva spotted a clip.
On the run back, number 87, blocking below the waist. First down.
Jim Wright, number 87, is caught on the clip. On that last Seahawk drive, they go 78 yards in 10 plays. On the drive, Zorn was 7 for 7. Technically, Boyd had checked into the game and lined up as a tight end.
Bob, he had checked in, and the officials told the Denver Broncos that an ineligible number was there.
Rick Parros to carry. He turns the corner. Parros out across the 20-yard line for a Denver first down. Michael Jackson, left side linebacker, finally shoved him out.
Coach Dan Reeves is very happy at what he sees out of young Rick Parros out of Utah State. .232 to play. Quarter number 1. Craig Morton. Not too many guys have taken as much criticism over the years as your old teammate Craig. Well, that's what happens when you want to be a quarterback in the NFL, a kicker in the NFL, a cornerback in the NFL. You're very visible.
Short drop, and it's batted down by Fred Anderson.
That was
Fred
dangerous.
Anderson, number 63.
Freddie, you missed a touchdown. Watch this, folks. He could have taken this one in and walked home with the bacon. I'd like to know a stat in the Denver history since Craig Morton has been there and how many balls have been blocked at the line of scrimmage.
Haven Moses goes out wide to the left, and Steve Watson is on the right side. 2nd and 10 from the 24. Morton looking. He's not mobile. He's going down. Jacob Green got there first, the second-year man from Texas A&M, number 79. And then he had plenty of help. Robert Hardy was also there.
Jacob Green has become a one-man wrecking crew today. I think he's trying to liven up the crowd here. They're a little pensive right now. Get him going.
A loss of 7. 3rd and 17 from the 17. They'll go into the shotgun. Odoms is in a slot on the right. Morton looking. Again under pressure. Sacked again. Green got there. Manu Tuiasosopo and Fred Anderson with a couple of licks for good measure. But it's Jacob Green's 2nd consecutive sack.
Bob, would you say the Seahawks came to play today?
As we told you earlier, Houston a 9-3 winner over Cleveland. Oilers 2-0, and the Browns 0-2. Kansas City goes to 2-0. Tampa Bay 1-1. The Chiefs with a miraculous victory a week ago against Pittsburgh. Today they beat the Bucs. And Atlanta, which was down 17-0, came back to up their record to 2-0 by beating Green Bay. Will Lewis is the deep man. Luke Prestidge has to punt from out of his own end zone. The line of scrimmage is the 11. Prestige's kick is returnable, relatively low. It backs Lewis up to the 42. Will Lewis is into Denver territory. He's at the 44-yard line of the Broncos.
Luke out-punted his coverage that time, Bob. He kicked it long enough but low. Anytime you have a low punt like that, it's very returnable.
A 47-yard boot by Luke Prestidge. A 14-yard return by Will Lewis coming back to the Kingdome after this. And the Seagulls along the sideline. They were not able to inspire the Seahawks here sufficiently last year to produce a victory. Perhaps they distracted them. Maybe that was the problem. 0-8 was the Seahawk mark in the Kingdome a year ago. It hasn't deterred the fans, though. Another sellout. That's par for the course here. They fill these seats.
Fans of Seattle are absolutely outstanding.
from the 44 on first down in Denver territory. Zorn will throw after the play fake. There's McCullum with the catch. McCullum ran that sideline pattern, that same pattern successfully on the last drive.
It worked because they flooded the areas, the zones with the receivers. He just stood back and picked the one he wanted. Bobby Swinson couldn't come over and cover the short area.
A gain of 15 to the 29, and Zorn is red hot in the first quarter.
Zorn's red hot. We were talking about the switching of the cornerbacks of Kyle and Perry Smith. Aaron Kyle is now in the game, number 22.
Largent left and McCullum right. The next pass that Steve Largent catches will be the 300th reception of his career. There's Largent in motion. He's got 25 seconds to play in the quarter. The handoff is to David Hughes, the rookie. Hughes for a couple of yards. Reuben Carter was wrapped around him. Randy Gradishar also there.
We were told yesterday that they were going to put the number 2 draft choice in the game a lot today. David Hughes is doing a pretty good job. I think when we see Largent catch that one pass, maybe the people that are viewing this game will realize he's one of the very good ones in the league.
There's the gun. That was the last play of the first quarter. When we come back, it's going to be second down and about 7 from the 26-yard line of Denver for the Seahawks, who lead after the first 15 minutes of play, 7-3. Last week, against the Oakland Raiders, Denver had 5 sacks of Jim Plunkett, and they were credited by defensive coordinator Joe Collier of the Broncos with 12 harassments. That is, that Plunkett had to throw under pressure. But thus far, Zorn has only had to scramble a couple of times, and by and large, he has had the time to pick that Denver secondary apart, and he's really moving the Seahawks.
It just goes to show that the Seahawk offensive line is doing an outstanding job today.
Staying with the air game, and no sooner do we bring that up than they do get to Jim Zorn.
And it's the second line, defensive line that's in there. Don Latimer got in.
How about this? Down at the Superdome, the first win for Bum. And the troubles continue for the Rams, 23-17.
Let's hear it for Bum.
They lost 8 on that last play. The Giants beat the Redskins. How about that?
That one I don't believe.
And unhappy Joe Gibbs, he's 0-2 as a head coach. Well, Baltimore lived the dream last week when they beat New England, but Buffalo's bringing them back to reality in the fourth quarter, 35-3. Third and 15. Zorn, under pressure. It is intercepted by Bryson Manor. Manor with good speed for a defensive lineman. Zorn has to make the tackle. Zorn brings him down at the Seattle 41.
Bob, we're going to look at it again, but that was caused by the harassing rush by Greg Boyd. He's a monster. Look at him. He threw it away. Bryson Manor out of Arkansas. He's done very yeoman-like duty for the Broncos in the past years. Look at him trying to run like a halfback. He better tuck that ball away.
Zorn shows that he's a good athlete, making a saving tackle. Boyd, 6'6" and 280, tough to throw over.
He also shows that he's human today. He will make a few mistakes.
You know, we mentioned just before those last couple of plays that the offensive line had afforded Zorn some time. Well, the Broncos responded to that by being all over in the next few plays. Rick Harrows, just about nothing. Right into the center of the line where Robert Hardy and Manu Tuiasosopo met him.
I'd like to make just a remark on that last play, Bobby, the defensive play. The second line defensive line was in there against the Seahawks that time. It was the first series that they were in. Maybe they weren't sure of who they were blocking. It was a new group, Don Latimer, Barney Chavis, and Greg Boyd.
Give them a gain of a couple, and we'll call it second down and 8. 13:55 to play in the second quarter. The Seahawks lead it 7-3. Morton dropping, a deep drop, and he fires. Batted up in the air, intended for Haven Moses. Michael Jackson was there on the coverage along with Kenny Easley.
We're going to take a look at their number 1 draft choice, number 45 out of UCLA, Kenny Easley. Terry Donahue said it. He may be the greatest ever in the history of UCLA. Look at this coverage. Can you get any better than that?
Morton looking for Moses. You got some age there. 73 years between the two of them. Craig is 38 and Haven is 35.
I was glad to get off that club. We were getting a little old.
Only 2 active wide receivers have caught more balls than Haven Moses, Harold Jackson and Harold Carmichael. Broncos are 0 for 3 on third down conversions so far, and Morton can't change that statistic. It was nearly intercepted by Keith Butler, then I guess it bounced into the hands of Kenny Easley.
Bobby, it was intercepted.
And then lateral?
No, he dropped the ball. He fumbled the ball, bounced right back. Seahawks have the ball back. It's one of those freak plays.
Well, let's see what Fred Silva says.
He did have possession.
Evidently, they'll say that Butler had it long enough for it to be an interception and then a fumble. Alertly, Kenny Easley didn't quit on the play, and he picked it up.
Bobby, this is one of the calls this year in the league that is going to go either way. We discussed it at the league meetings. Does he have possession or does he not? A lot of pressure on the officials this year.
So an exchange of turnovers, and Seattle gets the ball right back. 13:04 to play, first half, 7-3 Seahawks.
Next Saturday, rejoin the family as the tough Pittsburgh Pirates battle home run king Mike Schmidt and the Philadelphia Phillies. Or Reggie Jackson snaps out of it in style when the New York Yankees take on the Boston Red Sox. Check local listing.
Now let's watch what happens. Jim Morton will be intercepted by Butler. It'll be fumbled, but the interception will be legal, and Easley will pick it up.
He throws from shotgun. He throws it right to the linebacker. Watch. The receiver flushes it out of his arm. He does have control of the ball. Number 32, Tony Reed, knocks it out. Bounces a gimme bounce right to Kenny Easley, and away they go. It's a heads-up play by the Seahawks.
And an excellent call. Zorn, a play fake to Smith. Wants to throw on first down. Firing over the middle. Almost grabbed by John Sawyer. An excellent defensive play. Steve Foley reached in and got a hand on it.
Steve Foley's right at home now in that Bronco defense at safety. He used to play cornerback for years. On the inside, he's perfectly at home.
A fraction of a second was all that separated Sawyer from the touchdown.
There's not much between luck and bad luck.
A good look at Jim Zorn, who coming into today's game needed 222 yards passing to reach 15,000 for his career. This is his 6th NFL season. When he gets to 15,000, he'll become only the 3rd passer in NFL history to reach that mark that quickly by his 6th season. The first 2, Namath and Unitas, so that's pretty good company.
He's in very good company.
He's thrown for 3,000 yards or better the last 3 consecutive seasons. That's McCullum in motion on 2nd and 10 from the Seahawk 44, and Zorn will be sacked. Tossed down by Larry Evans, who came from his inside linebacker spot.
Joe Collier told me yesterday they will do some blitzing. They know that Jimmy Zorn is going to throw the ball up in the air, so they have to flush him out. They've got to get him out of the pocket, make him uncomfortable. Even though he's so good when he is flushed out, they have to change him up.
You mentioned Joe Collier, formerly with San Diego. You're really high on his skills as a defensive coordinator.
I honestly think Joe Collier is the best defensive coordinator in all of football. You see the blitz, Larry Evans coming in. Larry can run with halfbacks, very fast out of Mississippi College.
Well, they're pushed back to around the 35. It's 3rd down, and let's call it 18. They go with the draw. Sherman Smith out to the 40, and they'll have to call on Jeff West to punt. Now, you mentioned to me, Jim, that the Kingdome, just as in baseball, it's a home run hitter's park because the ball carries well, but this is really kicker's heaven. West should be able to get off a good boot.
West should be able, any punter in here should lead the league. He should be able to punt the ball well in here every time.
High snap, but he gets it away. An end-over-end kick. Wade Manning tracks it down, tries to stay in bounds, but can't. He tried to walk the tightrope, but not successfully. Carl Walenda, he is not. He's out of bounds.
Bob, that's a good punt. You don't want to punt it right down the pipe and let the return man have any choice he wants at the middle or the both sides. He trapped him on the side. Look at it right there. That was a very good punt.
What do Earl Campbell, Lynn Swan, Dan Fouts, Franco Harris, Burt Jones, Kenny Stabler, and Jim Plunkett have in common? They're featured next Sunday as NBC Sports continues to bring you the best players in the National Football League. Next Sunday on NBC Sports.
A moment ago, in talking about Joe Collier, I had referred to him as coming from San Diego, and I was thinking of Jackie Simpson, the Seahawks defensive coordinator. Collier, of course, has been with the Broncos a long time, including with that great Super Bowl team, which was so spearheaded by the Bronco defense. Throwing on first down, Riley Odoms, the tight end, makes the catch on the pass from Craig Morton, and Keith Butler, the linebacker, gets in on the tackle.
Bob, they're going to have to throw to Riley Odoms more. They didn't throw to him last year. Riley was a little discontented with the way the season went. He gained a tremendous amount of weight. As a matter of fact, he looked like a tackle. Riley has to be put into the offensive game plan of the Denver Broncos.
John Smith hits from 22. New England leads Philadelphia at 3-0. Detroit with a record of 1-0, and San Diego with the same mark, and the Chargers have a 7-3 first quarter lead. 7-yard gain on the last play at 2nd down and 3. Tony Reed trying to get out near the 30-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Terry Beeson, the middle linebacker, on the tackle. 3rd and short coming up for the Broncos. The Jets out in front of Cincinnati. Richard Todd to Jerome Barkham, a 40-yard touchdown connection. It's 7-0 with 13:15 to play in the second quarter in that game. Dallas leads the Cardinals in the second quarter, 14-7. Neil Lomax starting at quarterback for the Cards in place of the injured Jim Hart. A couple of teams off to 0-1 starts. The 49ers lead the Bears 7-0. Joe Montana to Ricky Patton for 31 yards in the first quarter and a touchdown. This is a first down for Denver. Rick Parros carrying off left tackle.
Seattle had the entire student body on the line that time. Just a simple play up the middle. He blasted it out a little bit. The left side of the offensive line caved him in just a touch to make that nice run.
Clock winding down toward 10 minutes to play in the first half. The Seahawks lead it by a score of 7-3. 1st and 10 from the 35 of Denver. Morton swings it out of the backfield. The catch made by Dave Preston. Preston with a gain of 7 or 8. And holding on the play is going to be called against the Broncos, and that will bring it back.
This has been their problem the entire preseason in the first game last week. The penalties are killing them. They get into scoring range or get something going on a long run or a long pass. Holding brings it back.
Offense, number 62, holding. First down.
Tom Glassick, the guilty party.
Tom Glassick, the man who loves history, has a toy soldier shop. He can set up zones of war for you and tell you who died, who won, everything.
Well, he lost on that exchange.
Yes,
First
he did.
and 20 from the 25. Morton flips it out to Tony Reed. Reed with a stutter step, gets across the 30, breaks a tackle. He'll be drilled back at about the 34-yard line. John Harris, the right safety on the tackle. Kerry Justin was also there, the right corner.
Another successful screen play by the Denver Broncos. Craig reads them off, throws to Tony. He zips back behind his blockers of Glassick and Miner and Paul Howard, Billy Bryan.
They got 9 on the play at 2nd and 11. For those viewers who might have just joined us, if you hear us say left and right safety, that's correct. That's the way the Seahawks play it. Kenny Easley left, John Harris right, no free and strong.
They play zone back there.
Moses to the right and Watson to the left. And the handoff is to Parros, and that doesn't surprise anybody.
It's interesting, Bob. Both cornerbacks of the Seahawks are playing very shallow, up close. They know that Moses and Steve Watson don't have the blazing speed, can't run down on. This is the one thing that the Broncos are missing, and Rick Upchurch sitting on the bench in his street clothes.
No gain on the play. It's 3rd and 11 from the 34. Jack Patera. Brother Ken Patera is a pro wrestler, one of the strongest men in the world. Talking about Ken Patera, although Jack Patera obviously can handle himself as well. Morton, he threw that one right on the money to Steve Watson. Perfectly thrown ball.
It had to be, or it was intercepted. As they say in the business, he threw it in a crowd. This is the one thing that I like. I personally like Steve Watson over Rick Upchurch. The precise patterns, the great hands.
They get 17 yards to the 48 of the Seahawks. Now, you said earlier, and this would surprise a lot of people, that as a pure passer, Morton still ranks among the very best.
Bob, if you put all 28 quarterbacks on the street as a pure passer, I think Craig Morton would win it.
His numbers so far today. Parros, they opened a good hole for him. Parros is to the 42-yard line, a gain of 6. Terry Beeson, the middle linebacker, with the stop. Kenny Easley helped him.
It's called a sucker play. Paul Howard just pulled out. The defensive tackle went with him. Rick Parros was able to just go inside, make 8 or 9 yards on it. A good opening play there.
Harris thus far unofficially 8 carries for 39 yards.
People out in Logan, Utah are quite proud of Rick Barris.
Second and a long 4. Tony Reed, the middle is stopped up. He says, I'll go left. Turns it into something halfway decent. There was a fumble. Let's say if they rule it after the whistle, no. They say the ball was live. John Harris recovered it.
It looked like he was going to make something out of nothing.
So the ball goes back to the Seahawks on the fumble by Tony Reed. We've got 7:05 to play in quarter number 2. Well, Denver has now turned the ball over twice, and the Seahawks have been guilty of 1 turnover. Here's the last one by Denver.
Tony made an attempt at a Tony Dorsett move there. Watch the ball being flushed out of his hand. They're taught this. Pull the ball out at every time you can.
And John Harris, number 44, got in on the recovery. He's the guy that intercepted a pass and returned it for a touchdown last week against Cincinnati. Now from their own 39, the Seahawks go back to work. Zorn pumps one out to the left side, and it's caught by David Hughes. The rookie is ridden out of bounds by Larry Evans.
Once again, Bob, they isolated the running back on a linebacker.
Gain of 7 on the play. Second down and 3.
David Hughes is seeing a lot of time today. I'm surprised at the amount of time, even though they told us he would be in quite a bit.
$6:59 to play in period number 2. The Seahawks put together a 78-yard drive for a touchdown, which culminated when Zorn threw to offensive lineman Dennis Boyd for the touchdown. Boyd had lined up eligible as a tight end on the play. Earlier, Fred Steinfurt had kicked a 30-yard field goal to give Denver a brief 3-0 lead. Hughes, no gain, maybe a loss of 1. Tom Jackson hit him first. Rulon Jones also there. Let's see what else is going on around the NFL. San Diego takes that 7-3 lead now into the second quarter against Detroit. Chuck Muncy, a touchdown run of a yard. Eddie Murray, an 18-yard field goal for the Lions. The Jets increased their lead over Cincinnati to 14-0. Well, the Jets were moaning last week after losing 31-0 to Buffalo. Joe Montana has thrown another touchdown pass. First he hit Ricky Patton. Now he finds Freddie Solomon for 46 yards. And it's a 14-0 lead for San Francisco over Chicago. 3rd and 3 for the Seahawks. Zorn fires it out to Eric Lane. And Lane, I believe, has the first down. They shoved him back, but his forward progress should give him the first down. Lane, the rookie from Brigham Young.
It's going to be awful close. From our viewpoint, it looks like he might make it by a couple of inches. Eric Lane out of BYU, MacArthur Lane's nephew. MacArthur Lane out of Utah State. This is going to be awful close. Very good tackle by Steve Foley out of Tulane. Couple of inches.
You know, the Seahawks, Jim, 9-7. Back in 1979, off to a 4-3 start in 1980, all of a sudden collapsed and lost 9 straight. Why?
It just happens. I don't know. It's like a kicker missing 5 field goals. It happens. The other teams get on a roll. You hit a bad streak. Everything falls apart.
McCullum to the left and Largent to the right. That's the tight end Don Sawyer lining up on the right side. The backs are in the eye behind Zorn. 1st and 10 from midfield. Zorn with the play fake and the deep drop, and he fires it out to Sawyer. Sawyer with a good move as he turns it in. He's across the 35 and down to the 33-yard line before Tom Jackson stopped him. It's a first down for Seattle. Now let's get an update on the New England-Philadelphia game as we go to Bryant Gumbel in New York.
Okay, Bob Costas, here's the kind of play that makes Patriots fans scream for Matt Cavanaugh at quarterback. Steve Grogan, working against the Eagles in Philadelphia, really throws this one up for grabs. What a duck. Roynell Young picks it off. Eagles on a drive, trailing 3-0. Bob?
Okay, thanks, Bryant. We've got 5 minutes and 4 seconds to play in the first half. Seahawks driving and trying to add to a 7-3 lead. Eric Lane sets up in a slot to the right. Single setback is Hughes. Zorn with a first down throw. Good pattern. McCullum makes the catch. Aaron Kyle gets there, but not in time to stop the reception.
They're just going basic down and out. Talent against talent. McCullum against Aaron Kyle.
Ball at the 28 of Denver, where it's 2nd down and 4. Seahawk fans were upset with the spot on the play. They thought that McCollum's progress was a bit further downfield, but the official rules that he was juggling it a bit, and so firm possession had not been established as he was being shoved back, so they get only 6. Well, they won't have time for a Herrera field goal unless they complete this and get out of bounds, and instead they get an interception on the play. It's picked off by Bill Thompson, who will run the clock out. The first half is over as soon as Thompson goes out of bounds, and we have played 30 minutes. Thompson paying for his trouble. A tie ball game at 10-10.
Tie ball game at 10-10. I don't want to let this go by. That's Billy Thompson's 38th career interception. He's been in the league 13 years.
So the Seahawks threaten late, but come up empty. And the halftime score. The Broncos 10, the Seahawks 10. We'll come back to the Kingdome in Seattle in just a couple of minutes.
Industry experts and fans alike consider it the most respected football show in the air today. For humor, for controversy, for an inside look, join host Brian Gumbel for all the latest scores, highlights, and more. We've got it all. Don't miss the most incredible upsets. Action off the field, the wildest fans, some down-home music, players turned actors, and the battle of the big boys. NFL 81. It's as hard-hitting as the sport it covers.
Well, these rabid Seahawk fans, who again have filled the Kingdome today, have waited since December of 1979 to see their Seahawks win one at home. Seattle now tied at 10 as we reach halftime. And Jim Zorn has produced more offense in a half than the Raiders were able to get in an entire ball game against the Broncos a week ago.
I'm not surprised at that, Bob. I'm very pleased to see the offensive line for the Seahawks do the job they're doing.
NFL 81 halftime activities will continue in a moment. Back after these messages from your local station. This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by Schlitz, the Master Brewer's Brew. Just one taste and you'll know behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer. By Pontiac, inviting you to test drive a new Pontiac soon, including the new generation J2000 for 1982. By Michelin, the company that put America on radials. And by Owens Corning Fiberglass Corporation, makers of Owens Corning Pink Fiberglass Insulation. You look at